You comfy? You take it easy. I'll get on with the work. Hey guys, got one Enfield frame ready to go. Thank you to all you lot who have ordered a frame. Thank you for being patient and bearing with me. I'm getting back on track now. All of you are aware of what's been going on. So it's sort of given me a few delays on things. So I've got, was it four or five frames to plod through, so I'm now getting my head down and getting through them. So thank you for being patient. So before I wrap this one up, I thought I'd go through a couple of things. If you've bought one or getting one or even building one for yourself. So with these, obviously you guys will be using the engine as the jig to attach the front part of the frame. My jig, you know, it's got all the brackets to attach that part, but I have done it using the frame for a jig, and it's really, really simple, to be honest. But with the front part of these frames, obviously you'll be cutting that off. I normally cut it off just behind the lug that holds the back of the tank, and then trim this to suit. But the front part of the frame, I have never had one of them the same. They're all different. That's just the nature of these bikes. I've had one that barely fits in my jig, and I've had to do things to deal with it. But yeah, I suppose, you know, in the factory they're jigging all these frames up, welding them all up. They're out the jig, on the floor, stacked up, lined up. They will move a little bit. It's, you know, with the heat transfer through things, you know, each one won't be millimetre perfect to each other, I wouldn't have thought. And you got to bear in mind, these bikes they're knocking on a bit, and they will have a few knocks, people bumping them up curbs and doing things they shouldn't be doing with them. So I guess that can play a part of it as well. But as you'll be using the engine as your jig, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. You won't spot any differences because you're only doing one bike. So yeah, what I normally do is cut it just behind the standard part of the frame, cut it just behind the lug for the tank. And then there's this little insert that goes in. And what I normally do is drill holes, a few random holes in each side, so I can weld through them. You can pin them if you wish, but if you're running wiring through the frame, that might cause you a few problems when you come to that bit. So I don't normally pin them, I'll just weld all through the holes. Then I'll leave a gap, probably 5 or 6 mil. So when I'm welding this, I'm welding it to that side of the frame, it's getting welded to this, and it's getting welded to this side of the frame. So it's getting, 3 surfaces are getting welded in. Really hot weld to like get it all the way through, and you'll be able to dress it up then. So that's easily done. What I normally do is get the engine on the bench, get everything loosely assembled, all the bolts and everything through, and get this join sorted first. When that's sorted and you're happy with it, go around and tighten everything up as tight as you can get it to hold it there. And when you've welded it, let it go stone cold before you go in and do it. And it probably will sort of spring a little bit, but that's just the nature of it. You'll be okay. You'll soon like pull it about and get your bolts through when you come to build the bike, the final build on the bike. This shoe that goes onto the bottom of the gearbox, this also can be a bit of a pain. Again, I've not had many the same where that width is the same. That is the nature of Enfield castings. Some of you have had a close look at them will know exactly what I mean. So sometimes if the castings are a bit rough, you'll have to dress them, the lugs, the holes up on the bottom of the gearbox for this just to slide on. You might be lucky, it might just go straight on, but don't forget, if you're getting it powder coated, you're going to have to allow for that as well, because I've done it where you get a nice snug fit and then the powder coating goes on and the damn thing won't go on again. So allow for that as well. So you might have a bit of messing about to get that onto the gearbox. So yeah, so when you've got it all loosely assembled and you're happy with all the joins, get it all bolted up nice and tight, weld it up. Another little option you could have is slash cut this tube and slash cut the standard part of the frame, so you've got a longer weld, bigger surface area that you've welded into, and still drill the holes. Like I say, you can pin them, but if you're running wiring through, it's going to give you a right headache basically. What else is there? Oh yeah, we've got this little brass bit here. So these axle plates are 20mm. It's absolutely fine that side because your brake plate goes through that side. But this side, you run your spindle through that as well. And that just soaks up the difference in size. Also on your brake plate, you'll have to do yourself a little bracket that stops it spinning. I think I've got, yeah. So on the standard setup, that bolt that stops the plate spinning is at the bottom. You will now have it up here, and you can sort of grind out the axle plate a tiny bit to get more adjustment if you wish. You know, I'm not doing everything for you. You're going to mess about with some bits, but basically the nature of the Enfields, none of them are the same. They're all slightly different, so you will have messing about to do when you come to fit this frame to the bike. It's totally impossible to have them absolutely spot on for each bike, because I'd have to make every single one custom built for each bike. So you might be one of the lucky ones, boom, 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 it all goes together, or there might be a bit of tweaking around and muscling it in a bit. And then obviously it's down to you to do all your mudguard brackets. If you haven't had one of my dummy old tanks, obviously you choose whatever you want to do there. I think that's about it. Yeah, you've got the little chain adjusters here, little 6mm. You'll need to do sort of brackets for your brake pedal. If you've got the 5-speed gearbox, there's a little modification to do on this. So on the top you might have to do some little cutouts for the back bolts of the gearbox to fit in if you've got a 5-speed box, because the bolts hit this bracket on the 5-speed. So it's not a problem, you just do some little half circles out of here and it drops straight on. I'm yet to have a look at a later Enfield to see if I can do frames for them as well. I will get one day and do a frame for one, see how much different it is. That's like the unit construction engine with the gearbox and everything all in one. So I will look into them one day and get some frames done for them. But after this run of frames, I'm having a bit of a break from them because I want to get some of my builds done. So I'm going to get these out of the way, and then I don't think I'll be taking any more orders for frames. One, sometimes it could drive you mad when you're doing too many of them. And two, like I say, I definitely want to get on with that 350 that's sitting outside at the minute. Can't wait to get on with that, and I want to cover that from start to finish, like you know. So that's about it. If you're going to buy a frame or got a frame, they're basically the things to look out for. I think that covers pretty much most of it. Yeah, so like I say, assemble it all loose. When you're happy with that join, tighten it all up and let it completely go cold before you're unbolting everything. And it should be all right. For those of you who want to destroy a perfectly good bike, take the suspension off and make it rigid. Look all right though, don't they? Anyway, cheers for watching, guys. Take care.